The subject I'm about to speak on is very important. Very, very important. एक कथा है भागवत महापुराण में 11वें स्कंद के कथा है, दूसरे अध्याय। जब भगवान श्री कृष्ण द्वारका में थे तो बार बार नारद जी आते थे उनको मिलने, बार बार आते थे। और वसुदेव जो भगवान के पिता थे वो भी आते थे। एक बार जब वसुदेव गए थे श्री कृष्ण को मिलने तो नारद जी भी आए उस समय। और वसुदेव ये देखकर सोचे ये बहुत सुनहरे अवसर है, अच्छा मौका है, कुछ सुनना चाहिए नारद जी से। इतना बड़ा संत जो भगवान के अवतार में भी गिनते हैं, अब ऐसे मौका बार बार नहीं मिलते, तो इनसे कुछ सुनना चाहते हैं। The katha, this katha tonight is a beautiful katha in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11th canto, 2nd chapter. This katha is in 11th canto, 2nd chapter, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran. Bhagwan Shri Krishna was staying in Dwarika that time. And so Naradji, his great devotee, great bhakt, used to come and visit Bhagwan Shri Krishna from time to time. Vasudeva also, the father of Shri Krishna, used to also come from time to time. And so on one occasion, Vasudeva ji went to meet Shri Krishna. So happened Naradji was also there, visiting Shri Krishna. Vasudeva taught such a great saint, Naradji. Naradji is counted amongst descensions of Shri Krishna. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, Naradji is counted amongst the avatar, descension. Not only is Naradji a Rishi Muni, but he is counted among descension of Shri Krishna. So Vasudeva, knowing this, decided, itna bare, such a great opportunity, I should not lose this wonderful golden chance. I want to hear something from Naradji. Let me ask him some questions, things I have in my mind, some doubts, and listen to some wonderful pastimes of the Lord. Bhagwan Shri Krishna says in Gita, Tad virpranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Chapter 4, verse 34, Gita. If we are so fortunate, Shri Krishna says, Arjun, if one is so fortunate, param saubhagya, the greatest fortune that you're able to meet someone who has seen God, to become in the association of someone who has seen God. Tattva darshinaha. Tattva means Shri Krishna darshinaha, who's seen. One who's seen, attained a divine vision of God. A true saint. What should you do? What should you do? So Shri Krishna says, first thing, Tadvirip pranipatena. Pranipatena. Completely surrender to Him. Surrender the mind, the intellect, not just bow to His feet with your head. Mayeva mana adhasva may buddhim niveshaya. Chapter 12, verse 8, Gita. Shri Krishna says to Arjun, hey Arjun, give your mind and intellect to me alone. This is surrender. When it comes to God, when it comes to the scriptures, we should not apply our mind and intellect. We have to accept. Do not try to use logic. A big trouble. The surrender, the real meaning of surrender, surrender in the mind, the intellect. So completely surrender. Pranipatin or pariprashnena. Ask him question. Prashna. How to ask the question? Some of us, we ask question. But how do we ask? We have read a little bit in the scripture, we have read some book, and we decide, let me see if this fella knows anything. We are asking to see if he knows anything, or we are asking to show that I know more than you. In other words, to make an argument. I'm going to show you that I know so much or that you don't know anything. No. Shri Krishna says when it comes to the spiritual teacher, the true saint, Pariprashne, not only prashna, but pariprashnena. There has to be a genuine desire to know. The feeling that I do not know, and the person I'm asking the question, he's going to give me the right answer. If you have a doubt, then don't ask. You have a doubt, this person, I don't know if he knows, then don't ask him. A pariprashnena, with a genuine interest to know. Mumukshutva. And sevaya. Seva. The word seva means to serve. Serve him. Do his seva. He will give you the knowledge of Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna, chapter 4, verse 34, Gita. So here, Vasudeva taught such a great saint, Naraji. So he decided to ask Naraji to listen something. So he said, Naraji, please tell me something, some divine knowledge of the scriptures. Please relate some wonderful divine knowledge of the Lord, his divine pastime, some divine philosophy. And Naraji agreed. And so they both sat. Naraji started to relate this katha. He said to Vasudeva, Suno, there are many Manus. This world, as we know it, goes in a cycle of 4 yugs. First there is Satyug, then comes Treta Yuga, then Dwapar Yuga, then the age we live in, which is called Kali Yuga. And this has happened uncountable times. It goes through that cycle and then is destroyed. Bhagwan himself comes, destroys it, and it starts from the top again. Again Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. Again the Lord comes. You have heard about Kalki, comes as Kalki, a special descension. So this age we live in, which is called Kali Yuga, the length of this age, 432,000 years. Just about little more than 5,000 years is gone. The moment Bhagwan Shri Krishna departed from this world, the material world, when he finished his divine pastime, the age of Kali Yuga, this age started. It was a little more than 5,150 years ago. So there's a little bit of gone. In other words, about 427,000 years in Kali Yuga still has to go before it is finished. Every day people, the world is going to come to an end. When Bhagwan decides that it has to come to an end, then it's going to happen. Can't happen before that. 2 times the length of Kali Yuga, twice that, is equal to the age of Dwapar Yuga, when the Lord came as Sri Krishna, descended. 3 times the age of Kali Yuga is equal to the age we call Treta Yuga, the length of Treta Yuga, when the Lord came as Bhagwan Shri Ram. And 4 times the age of Kali Yuga is equal to the age we call Satyug, the very first age. 4,320,000 years. All 4 combined. One cycle of this 4 age, 4,320,000 years. This is how long one cycle is. When this goes for 71 times, this cycle, 71 times, it is equal to the age of one Manu. There are many Manus. The Manu in the age we live in right now is called Vaivaswat Manu. And the very first one that starts in the beginning of that, the first day of Brahma, he is Swayambhu Manu. He is called Swayambhu Manu. So 71 multiplied by one cycle of that 4 ages is the age, how long one Manu will rule for in this world. 306,720,000 years. And 14 of Manus, there are 14 Manus in 12 hours of Brahma. Brahma, the one who creates, Bhagwan instructs, Brahma is born from the navel of Sri Krishna. And Bhagwan instructs Brahma to do creation. Shrishti. Brahma, he lives for 100 years. His lifespan. So 12 hours of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. Or Manvantars. 4,294,080,000 years. 12 hours of Brahma. And Brahma, I told you, he lives for 100 years. 311 trillion and 40 billion years. And then Mahapralaya. The entire world, the entire universe gets absorbed into Sri Krishna. Only Sri Krishna remains. And then he decides to bring creation again and starts all over. So Swayambhu Manu, one of the first Manus, his son was Priyabrat. Naraji is relating this katha. The son of Priyabrat was Agnidra. Agnidra's son was Nabhi. And the son of Nabhi was Rishabh Dev. Rishabh Bhagwan. Rishabh Dev is counted among the descendants of Sri Krishna. He is Bhagwan Sri Krishna himself. So Rishabh Dev. Rishabh Dev had 100 sons. Sauputra. Out of these 100 sons, the eldest one was Bharat. We hear about Jar Bharat. He was the eldest son. Bharat was so great that before this whole entire universe was known as Ajanabh Varsh. Because of Bharat, it became known as Bharat Varsh. So the eldest was Bharat. Of the 100 sons, 81 of them became Karmakandi, priests performing yagna, etc. 9 became rulers of the entire universe, and 9 became Yogishwars. Topmost among God among yogis, Yogishwars. They could go wherever they want. No one stops them. I'm sure you have heard that Brahma, the creator, he had 4 mind-born sons. Many. When Bhagwan told Brahma to go and do creation, the first thing Brahma did, he created Babajis. Out of his own mind, he created all his Babajis, Narad, the Saptarishis, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanat Kumar, the four mind-born sons, etc. So these four mind-born sons, they are topmost among yogis. They always remain 5 years old. Little boys and naked. They don't wear any clothes. And they go wherever they want. No one stops them. They don't need a spaceship or a chariot. All they do, they think in their mind, I want to go to this divine abode. I want to go to this planet Earth and this solar system. And they reach. Uncountable solar systems. Uncountable planet Earth. So wherever they want to go, all they do, they think in their mind, I want to go to this place, and they reach there. Similarly, these 9 Yogeshwars, they were topmost God among yogis, similar to the 4 mind-born sons of Brahma. They could go wherever they want. Kavir harir antariksha prabuddha pipalayana avirhotrotha drumilas chamasah karbhajana. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11 canto, 2nd chapter, 21st verse. So these are the 9. Kavi, Havir, Antariksh, Prabudh, Pipalayan, Avirhotra, Dumil, Chamas, Karbhajan. 9. Now, there was a very great devotee. His name was Videha Nimi. Just as the father of Mother Sita is known as Videha, Janak. Most of you know Ramayana. You know the Katha of Ramayana. And that the Divine Mother Sita, she appeared in the home of Janak. Janak is such a great Paramhans, he was known as Videha. Videha means one who has no feeling of the body. Videha. In other words, Paramhans. He has no feeling of the body. So just as Janak was called Videha, Nimi was also called Videha. Once Nimi was performing a yajna to increase his devotion for Sri Krishna. He was doing a yajna, and being such a great devotee, these 9 Yogeshwars decided to bless that yajna. And suddenly they appeared in that yajna of Videha Nimi. Videha was sitting, Nimi was sitting in the yajna. The priests in the yajna were the rishis and munis, the Purohit, the priests. And this 9 Yogeshwars suddenly appeared. Seeing the saints, there was a light about their body. Realizing that they are great saints, Videha Nimi immediately got up and went to welcome them. The priests, they also got up. The fire that they were performing that yajna in personified itself as Agni Dev. He became personified. And he also went. And so they all worship these 9 Yogeshwars. Give them a most beautiful seat to sit, wash their lotus feet, and give them the highest form of worship. And then Videha Nimi, the first thing he said to them, Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangura tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priya darshanam. 11 canto, 2nd chapter, 29th verse. Videha Nimi, after these 9 Yogeshwars are sitting, said to these 9 Yogeshwars, O Gurus, O spiritual masters, first of all, this human body is extremely rare and difficult to attain. The rarest and most difficult thing to attain in this world is birth in this human form, this thing we call Manav Deh, this human body. We do not realize the value of what we have. And because of that, we do not make the right use. We waste a golden opportunity we have because we don't understand what we have. Let's suppose someone is cleaning the street, and while cleaning he happens to find a ring. He takes the ring to an ordinary jeweler and says, "What is the value of this ring, bhaiya?" And the jeweler says, $100, TT. $100. You think, oh my God, this thing is useless. Who cares about a $100 ring? You put it anywhere, you don't care. One day, an expert jeweler who happens to be a friend of the family happens to come to your home, and he sees this ring lying like that, and out of curiosity, he picks it up, and he has, these jewelers, they have something in there, it's like a microscope. This thing, they can look very closely at the jewels. So he decides he takes this thing from his pocket, and he's looking at the ring. And he says, "Hey, where did you get this ring?" And he says, "I was cleaning the road, and I just got it. It's useless, man." Useless? What do you mean useless? "Oh, I went to this jeweler and he told me $100. But the expert jeweler says, No. He looks again in the light, in the sunlight. He says, "Bhaiya, do you understand the value of this ring that you have? I just told you, man, $100. Hey, $50,000. Huh? You almost get a heart attack. Because you were putting this thing anywhere. $50,000, now you grab it from his hand. You grab it. And now you start treasuring this ring. Because now it's a thing of value. Before, when it was just $100 in your mind, anyway. Now that the value has become $50,000, diamond. Before you thought it was glass, fake. Now you realize it's a true diamond. Now you treasure it. Your love and attachment has increased so many times. Because now it's a thing of value. In the same way, if we understand the value of this thing we call a human body, 8.4 million forms of life, Bhagwan Shri Ram says in the Ramayana, आकर 4 लाख 84 योनि भ्रमत यह जीव अविनाशी जय राम श्री राम
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
आकर 4,84,000 योनि भ्रमट यह जीव अविनाशी. The soul, the jeev, the atma, who we are. Remember I told you, this body belongs to us. We're not the body. We're the soul, the atma. And the soul, every relation of the soul is only with Shri Krishna. Tameva mata cha pita tameva. The mother, the father, every relation of the soul. No one can create a soul. Because we identify with the body, we make all these relations in the world. I'm a Trinidadian, I'm a Guyanese, I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, I'm a teacher, a doctor, an engineer, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Jain, so many titles. Someone were to ask us who we are. I am John. I am Bashti. That's your name? I'm a Trinidadian, a Guyanese, American, Brahmin, Kshatriya. Oh, I'm a Brahmin. You're a Brahmin, the soul is a Brahmin. So identifying with the body, we give all these titles. But the body belongs to us. We're not the body. We're the soul, the Atma, Jivatma, and the soul has no titles. Neither is it the Trinidadian, nor Guyanese, nor American, nor is it a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, nor is it a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, etc. The soul has no titles. Body belongs to us. Soul, Brahmata, it keeps wandering in the eight according to our karma, according to the actions we perform while we are living in this body. Not after you die and somebody do some rites. No, no, no. The actions we perform while we are in this body, according to that, we have to rotate. We can attain God also. We go to heaven, we go to hell, etc. According to our actions. But we rotate in that 8.4. So, aakar 4 lakh, 84 lakh. 8.4 million forms of life, we keep rotating. The soul is indestructible, unchangeable, eternal, beginningless. Mamaivansho jivaloke jiva bhutah sanatana. Chapter 15 verse 7, Gita Shri Krishna says, the individual soul are eternal, eternal sanatan, eternal parts of himself. Najayate mriyate va kadachinnayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuyah ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. We, the individual soul, the Jivatma, never takes birth, nor does it die, nor having come into existence does it cease to be, because it is unborn, eternal, and most ancient. It is not destroyed even when the body is destroyed. We are the soul, Atma. But this body is very valuable. We're not the body, but it's very valuable. So we do not understand the value of what we have, and we waste this golden opportunity. After we lose this, do you know what's going to happen? I'll get the body again. No, no. We don't get it like that. Bhagwan Sri Ram says to the residents of Ayodhya about how valuable, how we get this human body. Let's hear what God says. Bhagwan Sri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, let him tell us how we get this human body. Kabahuk kari karuna nar dehi det ish binu Jai Ram Shri Ram,
Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Kabahuk kari karuna naradehi, det ish binu hetu sanehi. Listen, Bhagwan himself, God is saying, he's given a lecture to the residents of Ayodhya. And he says, listen, very seldom, very rare does the Supreme Lord, who loves the individual soul without any self-interest. God does not look at what we can do and what we cannot do. He's not selfish. Without any self-interest. Very rarely does he bestow upon the soul birth in the human form. It's very difficult. Durlabho manusho dehu. The Vedas say, Iha ched dashakat bodhum prak sharirasya vissasaha tatah sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate kathopanishad. Second canto, third chapter, fourth verse. The Vedas are saying, hey, mankind, human beings, listen carefully. Having acquired birth in this very blessed human form, immediately try to attain your goal of God realization. Otherwise, you'll be doing the greatest harm to yourself. In that you will have to continuously rotate in the 8.4 million forms of life. For how long? How long it takes to get birth in the human form? Listen to what the Vedas, the highest authority in Sanatan Dharma, the Vedas. Bhagavad Mahapuran is the explanation of Vedas. That's why Bhagavad Mahapuran is the greatest book. Nobody can understand Ved. So Veda Vyas decided to write explanation of Vedas. And this is called Bhagavad Mahapuran. It's called Pancham Ved, the fifth Ved. There are four Vedas, Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sam Ved, Atharva Ved. But Ved is divine. No one can understand. So Veda Vyas, the descension of Sri Krishna, is counted again amongst the descensions of Sri Krishna. He wrote explanation of Vedas, and that is called Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran. So the Vedas, this Kathopanishad is saying, Sargeshu, one sarg is equal to one kalp. And I just told you in the beginning, how long is one kalp? 12 hours of Brahma is one kalp. 4,294,080,000 years is equal to one kalp. 12 hours of Brahma. So sarg in Ved Sanskrit is kalp. And sargeshu, plural. So after many kalps, we get a chance to get birth in the human form. After billions and billions of years. We do not understand how difficult. And when we get it, wele, have a good time, jump and dance and eat and drink. How many of us think and sit for a moment and realize the value of what we have? Bhagavan Shri Krishna says to Uddhav Gita in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Nidehamadyam sulabham sudullabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam Mayanukule nabhasvateritam puman bhavabdhim nataretsa atmaha. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11 canto, 20th chapter, 17th verse. Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying to Uddhav, these exact words that Shri Krishna said to Uddhav in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Bhagavan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya. Exact words. Listen to the explanation. This is the exact words that Shri Krishna says to Uddhav. Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya in that lecture that he gave to them, Uttarkand of Ramayana. नरतनु भाव पारिधि कहु बेर सन्मुख मरुत अनुग्रह मेर बोलो
राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम राम राम
कर्णधार सद्गुरु दृढ़ नावा दुर्लभ साज सुलभ करि पाव बोलो
राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम राम राम
This is the exact translation. Remember, Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying these same words to Uddhav. The exact words Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, Tulsikrit Ramayana. Naratanu bhava baridhi kahu bero. This world is called an ocean. Bhava Sagar. The word Sagar, those who know some Hindi will know Sagar means an ocean. Bhava Sagar, an ocean of suffering, pain, suffering. To cross an ocean, we need a now, a boat, a ship. There are 8.4 million kinds, forms. Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, Shri Krishna is saying to Uddhav, I have given you the most competent boat, vessel to cross this ocean in the form of the human body, Naratanu. The boat cannot cross the ocean just like that. You need a good favorable wind. So, Naratanubhav baridhi kahu bero aur sanmukha marut anugrah mero. Marut, I have also given you the favorable wind of my grace. The Lord is saying that the boat will go smoothly on that ocean. But it's a very dangerous ocean. There are huge waves. There are huge fishes, crocodiles and sharks, etc. Greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, lust that will destroy this boat, this now. So you need a good boatman. An expert boatman, not any kind of boatman, to be able to traverse this very dangerous ocean. So, Karnadhar Sadguru Didhanava. I have also given you the expert boatman in the form of the Sadguru, the true saint, the true Guru. I have given you all of that. And yet we make no attempt. We just use this wonderful body, this boat, to cross this ocean, just to enjoy the senses. Then Bhagwan Shri Ram says very angrily, as Shri Krishna says to Uddhav also in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Doha. जो न तरे भव सागर नर समाज अस पाई हो रामा नर समाज अस पाई सो कृत निंदक मंदमति आत्महन गति जाय हो रामा आत्महन गति जाय सियावर रामचंद्र कर जय शरणम
शंकर हरि ओम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम।
जो न तरई भव सागर. Bhagavan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, and Shri Krishna is saying to Uddhav, Jo na tadai bhavasagar nar samaj asupai. You have gotten this human body that even Devtas are praying and begging for. People pray to Devtas. Devtas and Bhagavan is two different things. People think Devta is also Bhagavan. We don't understand that big difference. Bhagavan is supreme power. Supreme power, supreme Lord. Devta, celestial beings, living in heaven, Swarg. Indra, the king of heaven, the god of rain. Agni, the god of fire. Vayu, the god of wind. Kuber, the god of wealth. These are Devtas, celestial beings, just enjoying the fruits of their past action. People pray to Devtas. Indraya Namaha Swaha, Agnaye Namaha Swaha, Vayave Namaha Swaha. And these Devtas, बड़े भाग्य मनुष्य तनु पावा सुर दुर्लभ सदग्रंथनि भावा बोल जय राम श्री
राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
बड़े भाग्य मानुष तनु पावा सुर दुर्लभ सदग्रंथ निगाह. Many people know this chaupai. People quote it. This is Bhagavan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, it is the greatest fortune. Bare bhagya. The greatest fortune, the greatest blessing for the soul to acquire birth in the human form. Sura Durlabh. Sur means Devta. Those people I just mentioned, Agni, Indra, Kuber, Vayu. They can't get it. Sura Durlabh. They are praying and begging God for birth in the human form, but they can't get it. Durlabham manusham janma prathyate tridashairapi. Narad Puran. The Devtas, celestial gods, they are praying to Shri Krishna, hey Shri Krishna, please give us birth in the human form. We do not want heaven, there is nothing there. Imagine, Devtas are praying for this thing, how valuable it is. We don't realize how valuable. Imagine, Devtas are praying for this human body and we are praying we want to go to heaven. Because we do not understand philosophy. We just know a little katha, a little story, and we think we know everything. Or else nobody would want to go to heaven. Nobody. We'll hear more about it. So Shri Ram says, after you have acquired this birth and this wonderful human birth, and you have not made any attempt to cross this ocean of mundane existence, Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, Bhagwan Shri Ram says to the residents of Ayodhya, that person is extremely stupid, dull-witted, mandamati, and atmahan gati jai. That person is a murderer of their own self. When you have not made the proper use of this wonderful gift that God has given to us. What has been given to us, we will hear. Actually, wanting only bhakti, to do bhakti. Nothing else. Dog cannot do bhakti, cow cannot do bhakti, devta cannot do bhakti. Only human beings. And we don't know. We don't understand the value of what we have. So, Videha Nimi is saying, this greatest, this human body, durlabho manusho deho, the human body is extremely rare and difficult to attain. Our dehinam kshana bhanguraha, but it has a problem. It is kshana bhangur. You know, kshana bhangur means transient, non-lasting. At which moment we can lose it, nobody knows. We keep procrastinating, putting off. You know, this is one of the problems we have. We keep putting off. I will do bhakti, I will worship Bhagwan. Not yet. I'm too busy right now. Yeah, I have so much things to do. I have to build so many houses. I have to make so much money. I have to do this. I have to do that. I will do bhakti. I will worship God next year, next 2 years, next week. And we don't even know if we'll live to see next moment. This is a problem. One of the faults. This is the greatest gift, but it has a big fault, a big problem. Kshana bhangur. And the third thing, Vaikuntha Priya Darshana, to have the association of a true saint, one who has attained the divine knowledge, divine bliss, divine vision of Shri Krishna. You've attained that, you've attained everything. What is the value of this? Why is this human body so valuable? We'll hear a little more, but first let's do a bhajan. So in the books we have, let's do a beautiful bhajan. Sanu Swami was saying this, Swamiji talking, you know. So let's take a little break from this all is talking and do a wonderful bhajan so we can keep our mind, get a little relaxed, as you would say. A very beautiful bhajan. The Saint Kripaluji Maharaj has written this beautiful bhajan, is saying, Gahore man sham charan sharanai. O mind, what, you know, the who and what is the performer of our actions? What does God note? What we do physically? Many of us, we do so much puja, and we go to mandir, and we do so many things, and we think, I am doing so much. And we boast about it also too. I have gone to India and have done parikrama so many times of Govardhan mountain. I have been to here, I have been to there. But what is the performer of our action? Is it the hand, the feet, the mouth, the eye, the ears, the nose? No. The Vedas tell us, Mana eva manushyanam karnam bandha mokshayoho. Brahma Bindu Upanishad, second mantra. Man ev, the word ev means only. Man, mind, the mind alone. The mind alone is the cause of bondage as well as liberation. This is why in the whole Gita, Shri Krishna is telling Arjun, surrender the mind, surrender the mind. Not physical surrender. Mai eva mana adhasva mai buddhim niveshaya. Chapter 12, verse 8, many places. The mind, give your mind to me, God says. So, O mind, the saint is addressing the mind. O mind, surrender yourself, take shelter, surrender yourself to the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. Not just bow your head, but surrender the mind. Surrender your mind. Oh mind, surrender yourself. Why? Anta samay ko kaam na ai hai. All these people we call ours in the world, mother, father, brother, sister, whoever, no one will be of help to us when we leave this world. Whatever we have done while we are alive, that's the only thing is going to go with us. No one can help again. Don't think somebody, people, this thing in this world now. Sometimes I see sometimes this guy had never been to Mandir one day. He will never listen or take God's name. Have no time for God. Will curse God. And when he dies, you have the most Ramayana read in his home. That will sell him to Bhagwan. But yeah, when you were alive, you did nothing. You didn't even want to hear. You cursed Bhagwan. And now everybody will sing and send you to Bhagwan. No. How much time you took the name of the Lord. How many times you remembered the Lord. Lovingly remembered Him. That is what will go with us. No one can help you after that. Kaam, krodha, adlobha, moha, mad. As long as we do not surrender to the lotus feet of Bhagwan, all these things will give us problem. Greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, lust, all these things. The only way we can become free from all of this is when we surrender to Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna says in Gita, Daivi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante maya metantarantite. Chapter 7 verse 14 Gita. Bhagwan says Maya. He says Maya is not an illusion as people say. Daivi hesha. It's a divine power. Or Meri Maya. It's a power that belongs to Shri Krishna. He says it's His power. And since it's a power of Shri Krishna, it cannot be illusionary. Then Shri Krishna is illusionary. So no one can cross Maya by themselves. How to cross Maya? How to become free from Maya? Mameva. The word eva again. Only, he says, only the one who completely surrenders to Shri Krishna, because it is His power, can become free from Maya. In other words, only when Shri Krishna says to Maya, hey Maya, leave that one, they are mine now. Then Maya will go. Why am I talking about Maya? Because Maya is the mother of all these problems here. This greed, this anger, the jealousy, the hatred, the lust. These are all the children of Maya. Only when Maya go, all of them will go. Some people think, we think in the world, well, I don't jealous anybody. I don't have jealousy. I am not greedy. I just get a little angry, that's all. But yeah, if one is there, all of them are there. Because Maya is the mother. Only when Maya goes, all will go. And the only way to become free from Maya is to surrender to the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna says, only the one who surrenders to Him can become free from Maya. So that's the only time we'll attain peace and happiness. When we surrender to Shri Krishna. Yaha jaga mriga trishna samadhikat sukha lavalesha napai. This world, the world is not an illusion. Keep that in mind. Not as the Jnani says. No. The world is, the Jnanis, you know what the Jnani says? Everything you see in the world is an imagination of the mind. I'm imagining you, you are imagining me. Now, right now what you're seeing and you're hearing, you're imagining according to the Jnanis. What a wonderful imagination, and everybody imagining the same thing. No, it's not an imagination. This world is not mithya. What we are looking for in the world is imaginary. What are we looking for in the world? Happiness, sukh, anand, bliss. There's not even the tiniest drop of happiness in this material world. Nowhere. That is illusionary. The happiness we are looking for we'll find only in Shri Krishna, because Shri Krishna is happiness. The Vedas say, Anando Brahmeti Vajanat Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 3, verse 6, that another name for Shri Krishna is Anand, bliss, happiness. Shri Krishna is happiness. Dhana yavan tan chana bhangur sab jau kapur urijai. You know, we have some little thing in this world and we get so proud, you know. Somebody has some money. Everybody has to listen to me. We get a little position. Hey, Bhagwan. The moment you get position, you know this guy, before he became prime minister or president, what a wonderful person. A little organization you have in the mandir. And this guy is such a nice person and you make him the president. Hey, Bhagwan. What happened to him? Power corrupts. It goes in the head. Little thing, we become arrogant. Nahi kovas janma jagmahi prabhuta pahi jahi madanahi. Tulsidas Ji Maharaj says, there never was, nor is, nor will there be such a person who acquired something in excess in the world, a little bit more. Whether it's beauty, whether it's money, whether it's position, etc., and has not become arrogant. It brings arrogance. But bhaiya, realize these things. You know, you may have it today and tomorrow is gone. Today you're very wealthy and you play in the stock market and tomorrow the market fall. Today you're a billionaire, tomorrow you're a zeronaire. All gone. Today you live in iron, you have all this muscle and you get some big sickness, some viral, some virus, something attack you and you have to take a stick and walk now. Today that person has won Miss Universe, Miss World. And everybody, wow, and then a few years she become old, people don't even look at her. These things, you know, you kapoor, camphor, right? If you leave it open, after a while, it melts away. It flies away in the wind. Same thing, these things that we are so proud about. Why be proud? Today is there, tomorrow is gone. Why are you so proud about all these things? Bahuri kripalu naratanu pai bigadi lehu banai. It's the last line the Saint Kripalu says, Bhaiya, you're not going to get this human birth again and again. You've gotten a great, great gift. Realize that. None. And so attain the aim of life that you have this wonderful. Try to do it right now. Do not procrastinate. Let's sing this beautiful bhajan. Gahore man Sham charan sharanai. Gahore man
Sham charan sharanai.
Sham charan sharanai. Sham
charan sharanai.
Gahore man Sham charan sharanai. Gahore
man Sham charan sharanai.
अंत समय को कामना आई है. अंत समय
को कामना आई है.
मात पिता सुत भाई. मात पिता सुत भाई. गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई. गहोरे
श्याम चरण शरणाई.
श्याम चरण शरणाई. श्याम somebody play Majira. गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई.
गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई.
काम क्रोध लोभ मोह मद.
काम क्रोध लोभ मोह मद.
इन सो कछु न बसाई.
इन सो कछु न बसाई.
गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई. गहोरे
मन श्याम चरण शरणाई।
श्याम चरण शरणाई।
श्याम चरण शरणाई।
ओ गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई। गहोरे
मन श्याम चरण शरणाई।
यह जग मृग तृष्णा समदीखत। यह
जग मृग तृष्णा समदीखत।
सुख लवलेश न पाई।
सुख लवलेश न पाई।
ओ गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई। गहोरे
मन श्याम चरण शरणाई।
धन यौवन तन क्षण भंगुर सब।
धन यौवन तन क्षण भंगुर सब।
जौ कपूर उड़ जाई। जौ गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई। गहोरे
मन श्याम चरण शरणाई।
श्याम चरण शरणाई। श्याम
चरण शरणाई।
ओ गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई। गहोरे
श्याम चरण शरणाई।
बहुरी कृपालु ननर तनु पाई। बहुरी
कृपालु ननर तनु पाई।
बिगड़ी लेहु बनाई। बिगड़ी
बनाई।
गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई। गहोरे
श्याम चरण शरणाई।
श्याम चरण शरणाई।
श्याम चरण शरणाई।
ओ गहोरे मन श्याम चरण शरणाई। गहोरे
मन श्याम चरण शरणाई।
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Coming back to the topic, a few moments. So we've seen how valuable this human body is. And the question is, why is it so valuable that even devatas, celestial gods, are begging and praying for birth in this human form? In the Ramayana, there's a very famous katha, and many Ramayanis sitting here. Some people know the whole Ramayana by heart. But there's a very famous katha in the Ramayana called Sapt Prashna. Sapt Prashna. Kagbhasundaji was asked 7 questions by Guruji Maharaj. Very important questions. And the first one, the very first one, and most important question that he asked. Let's hear the first question. प्रथमा ही कहूँ नाथ मति धीरा, सब ते दुर्लभ सद, सब ते दुर्लभ कावन शरीरा। जय राम श्री राम,
जय जय राम, श्री राम जय
प्रथम ही कहूँ नाथ मति धीरा सबते दुर्लभ कावन शरीरा. You see, again this thing comes, when we find the right person to ask, we have to find the right person. We have to ask questions. Someone tell you, never, don't ask question. And Bhagwan Krishna is saying to ask. In Gita, you have to ask. But we have to ask the right person. Tattvadarshinaha. So Guruji is asking Kak Basundiji Maharaj. He says, first of all, O my strong-minded master, tell me, what is the rarest and most difficult birth to attain? In the 8.4 million forms of life, which is the rarest and most difficult one? A very important question. As I told you, if we understand the value of what we have, this thing which is called human body, we are not the body. Remember that all the time. This is our problem. I've forgotten that we are the soul, the Atma. Oh, bhul gaya. We have forgotten from beginningless time. We identified with this body. And that is the reason for us to have to rotate, keep on rotating in the 8.4 million forms of life. The first knowledge, the very first knowledge, we have to realize that I am the soul, the Atma. I am not the body. This is the very beginning. The first knowledge. And this is the root cause of all our problems. Not just reading a book or listening to some lecture, but realizing deep in our heart, मैं आत्मा हूँ, मैं आत्मा हूँ, मैं शरीर नहीं हूँ. I am the soul, I am the soul. I am not the body. And that soul rotates in 8.4 million forms of life, besides having to go to hell, etc. So in that 8.4 million forms, the human body is told to be the most superior. Janmantara sahasreshu manushyattvam hi durlabham, Mahabharata. All the scriptures tell us of how superior this human birth is. How superior. Why is it so superior? Bhartihari, a great saint, he said, Ahara nidra bhayamay thunani samanya me tatpashubhir naranam. He said, hey, as far as eating, ahar, nidra, sleeping, bhay, fear, and maithun, mating are concerned, human beings are just like animals. In other words, Bhartrihari is calling us animal, pashu. Sounds very bad, eh? And we would think, how dare he call us animal? I'm not a dog. I'm not a cat. I'm not a donkey. He's been very nice to us. We are worse than animals. When it comes to these four things, we are worse than animals. You ever see a dog deep frying or a cow deep frying the vegetable? Today, I don't want to say it to Bahar, but today Bhaiya gave me some Karela. He knows Swamiji like Karela. But the way it is done, I told him last time, I told him, that's not how I eat it. So I thought it was going to give me a different way. But this is how it's done. Not any blame against anybody, but this is how it's done here. You take the Karela, you chop it, and you throw salt, and then you wring it. Everything out, and then you fry it like a biscuit. And Swamiji, Karela. Hey, Bhagavan, you have thrown away the real thing, everything. Kerala is very good. But I know you say Karaili. The actual name is Karaila in Hindi. But we have thrown away everything, destroyed it completely. And many, many other examples. I won't go in detail. So he's been very nice to us. Animals, they eat original. Everything original. They don't fry and boil and and all these things. We can't eat original food. We are, after all, human beings. We're very intelligent. How intelligent? Destroy food completely. All the vitamins, destroy it. And then eat. So we are so intelligent. The thing they call the tongue, jeeb, and the mind, Bhagavan. As our mind says, our tongue, we destroy the food. And at 25 years of age, we suffer from the gravest of illnesses. And we say, I'm a human being. So he's been very nice to us. So then, if we're equal to animals, then what is superior to them? So he says in the next line, Jnanam hitesha madhiko vishesho Jnane nahi na pashubhis samana. Jnana. Human beings have something called Jnana, which the other creatures don't have. The power to discriminate. Animals can't think. They act on instinct. Forget all the things you see. You go to Disney World and all these places, Sea World, and this killer whale, Shamu, he does this wonderful tricks and and he eats the trainer also. They have stopped having this thing because how many trainers have been eaten by these fish? You go in the circus and this lion, this man puts his head inside the lion mouth, in tiger mouth, and sometimes the tiger takes his head also too. The tiger doesn't know this is wrong to bite the trainer. They're trained. They act on instinct. They're wild animals. So they cannot discriminate. They don't know right from wrong, real from unreal. We human beings, we have that power. Bhagavan Shri Ram says to Bharatji, when he met Bhagavan Shri Ram in Chitrakoot, Bhagavan Shri Ram said many things. One of the things he said to Bharat, Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
हित अनहित पशु पछियु जाना मानुष तन गुण ज्ञान निधान बोलो राम
सिया राम जय जय राम राम सिया राम जय जय राम
हित अनहित पशु पछियु जाना मानुष तन गुण ज्ञान निधाना. That which places human beings in a higher plane to other creatures is the gift of gyan, knowledge, an abundance, nidhana, that other creatures don't have. But while the soul can rise to the highest, it can also fall to the lowest. When this power to discriminate is destroyed, Jnanam hi tesha madhiko vishesha or jnanena hinaha. When that jnana is destroyed, jnanena hinaha to pashubhi samanaha. We become just like animals. And you know when that knowledge is destroyed? When the power to discriminate is destroyed? Krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha Smriti banshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. Chapter 2, verse 63, Gita. Bhagwan Krishna says, from delusion comes loss of memory. When one gets angry, what does anger do to us? From anger comes delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. When we lose a memory, we lose the power to discriminate. And everything is destroyed. When we get angry, you destroy yourself. This is why anger is so dangerous. And some of us, we get angry and we love to get angry. And you get angry, you tell somebody the worst thing and you make them cry and you say, I fix you. But in the process, we fix ourselves better by here. Destroyed ourselves. This anger. So human beings, we have this great gift. But Devatas also want this human body. They're also begging and praying for it. And their knowledge is far, far superior to ours. Kapusundaji says to Guruji, in the reply to his question as to which, in the 8.4, which is the most superior form, and he replies and he says, Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo.
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Oh, Naratanu Samanahi, Kavani Hudehi, Jeev Charachar, Jachat Je, Bolo Ram.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
The Kagbasundji says to Guruji Maharaj, ki he Garud, Naratanu Samanahi Kavani Hudehi, Jeeva Charachar Jachat Jehi. There's no form in the 8.4 million forms. According to Sanatana Dharma, there are 8.4 million forms of life. None is comparable to the human birth, the human form. Our Jeeva Charachar, it is so valuable that the animate as well as inanimate, even as I showed you before, Devatas, celestial gods, are praying and begging, desires birth in this human form. Why? Why? Kagbasundji gives the answer. नरक स्वर्ग अपवर्ग निसेनी ज्ञान विराग भक्ति सुख देनी बोलो राम राम राम
Raja Ram, Ram, Ram.
राम राम
Raja Ram, Ram, Ram.
Time is of the essence. Kagbasundji says, Narak Swarga Apavarga Niseni Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sukha Deni. So much things we can get in the human body. And the best one, Narak, hell. The very first one he mentions. He says this human body is so valuable. Everyone, whether animate or inanimate, desires birth in the human form. It is non-comparable. It is none as good or as bad. You see, Tulsidas Ji, when he wrote this Chaupai, he was being very smart. Naratanu Samanahi. There's none There's no other form of life as good or as bad. Right? He didn't specify. He said there is no other form of life equal to. It could mean as good as or as bad as. So the very first thing he says, Narak. And those who know Hindi, Narak means hell. That this human body will take you straight to hell. Wow. After saying that this human body is so wonderful that even the Devtas are begging and praying for it, he says it's the best means to go to hell. Somebody tell you, boy, you're great. You're so great. Man, you are the greatest. You're the greatest fool that ever existed. This is what he has done. First, he praises a human body so highly, and then he says it's the best means for going to hell. There's a reason. There's a reason. And that is because of Gyan, knowledge. You see, human beings has been blessed by this great gift that if we do not put it to the right use, in the right direction, we are bound to put it to the wrong use in the wrong direction, and not in an ordinary way, but in the most terrible way. If all the greatest brains in the world were to come together and try to teach a donkey how to steal, chori karna, do you think they'll succeed? Huh? But if this training is given to one of us, without training we can steal, man. We don't have to get training. This is why Tulsidas, because of this gift. So he says 99%, because we are going to use this knowledge in the wrong way. Of the few remain, 1%. They want to go to heaven, Swarg. They think it's a great place. As I told you, heaven is not the place to go. So few want to go to heaven. And there are those who have taught very carefully, look, I have been to heaven uncountable times. We, the individual souls, are beginningless, eternal, Sanatan. Shri Krishna says, Sanatan, Mamaivansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhutaha Sanatanaha, chapter 15, verse 7. We are eternal parts of Shri Krishna. We are beginningless, unborn, eternal. So we have been to heaven uncountable times. So those few have taught, look, there is no happiness in heaven. They strive to attain moksha. Mukti, they want to merge into the formless Brahm, the formless aspect of Shri Krishna. It's also not the best. It's not bad, but it's not the best. And there are those outstanding individuals who have even discarded mukti, moksha. And they strive for the highest attainment, which is called bhakti, divine love. The highest. All of this can be attained only in this human body. This is how valuable. Punyena punya lokam neti papena papam ubhabhyam eva manushya lokam. The Vedas say, if you do good actions, dharma, etc., you'll go to heaven. You do bad actions, you will go to hell. You do a mixture of good and bad actions, you will attain this material world. You do neither good nor bad, as Shri Krishna teaches us in the Gita, you will attain moksha. And if you go beyond the desire for moksha, for mukti, you attain bhakti, the highest attainment. This human body is the bearer of so many fruits. This is why Devtas also are praying for this human body. We have it and we don't know. But there's much more to know. Why should we not want heaven? Why should we not want moksha? And why should we want only bhakti? This is a statement I made, and many of you maybe start thinking, what's wrong with him? Some of us want to go to heaven. Some people think moksha is the highest attainment, and he's talking about bhakti. This is what we should want, only bhakti. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Devotees, so I've brought the end of the discourse tonight, this point, because we have something we want to do very wonderful that will bless all of us. Besides, of course, the blessings of the pravachan itself, the divine discourse. We're going to perform Abhishek of Bhagwan. Abhishek means we give a divine bath to God in His form of His image. Now, one thing I want you to understand, whether it's a murti or a picture, etc., when we worship that murti or picture of God, we have to have the feeling that we are worshiping God Himself. I'm not talking about a picture of a person in the wall or an image, but God. The scriptures tell us that God pervades in each and every particle of the world. Each and every particle. Eko deva sarva bhuteshu gurha sarva vyapi sarva bhutantaratma karma dhyaksha sarva lokadivasa sakshi cheta kevalo nirgunascha. Shvetashvatara Upanishad chapter 6 verse 11. The Veda says that God pervades in each and every particle, 100%. So when we are worshipping, when we are bathed in this image of God, don't say it's an idol or statue. Because God, have the feeling I'm bathed in God Himself. Because God is in every particle. And then we get the benefit. So by performing this Abhishek, we actually bathe in Bhagwan, but we have to have the right feeling.